Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your WWE Raw post show for Monday, July 5th. Tonight on the show, Nikki Cross gets a new name, Drew McIntyre starts a program with Jinder Mahal, and other people wrestled. Yeah, not the most eventful episode of Raw tonight. If you caught the show, you know what I'm talking about. If you didn't catch the show, you will soon find out. Thank you for joining us here on the Raw Post Show on the Ringside Report Network. Seeing Mako on the chat, Lauren Cronish, Franco316. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here tonight. The Canadians just won the Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals, so that was good. They got one. They scored one, and they scored in overtime, and now they're only down 3-1. So all they need is 3 more games, and they could win the Stanley Cup. You never know. So that game ended just in time here for the WWE Raw Post Show. I had it on TV, checking it out. But I was watching Monday Night Raw here for you tonight. Not much really going on Raw. Not much happened. The matches weren't particularly good. This was tough. This was a boring show. I gotta admit, this was not the best episode of Raw. We've seen better. Over the past couple of weeks, I think it's been a lot better than it was tonight. There's nothing on the line in any of these matches. Kind of matches for no reason. Strange pairings. It was just weird. It was weird and not good. Not great. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and when you subscribe, you click that bell so you know the moment we go live. You get that notification as soon as we go live. I know Mako was struggling because I think it said we're going live at 11 on Friday night, but we went on at 10 as we are every Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, right after Smackdown. Mako, I think, missed half of the show. He was upset. You got to click that bell so you get the notifications every time that we are on, so you know the right time. And the right time, of course, is after Monday Night Raw, after Friday Night Smackdown, and after AEW Dynamite. Welcome. AEW Dynamite coming up. Thank you, Derek John, for sponsoring the program. You can go to donate.ringsidereport.net. You can join the show as well. Click that join button. Become a member. That join button right beneath me. And you can buy merch over at merch.ringsidereport.net. This Wednesday night, we'll resume our AEW Dynamite post shows. We're coming back to Wednesday nights. We've been off because, well, Dynamite wasn't on Wednesday nights. It was on Fridays and Saturdays. Last Wednesday, it did come back to Wednesdays, right? But this week, they're going back to touring. Dynamite will be in Miami. AEW Dynamite this coming Wednesday night in Miami, Florida. Road Rager. So AEW has a big show coming up on Wednesday, and we'll be on right after the show on Wednesday night for AEW Dynamite with Johnny North and Glenn McKenzie. I think. Super chat. Unless there's a Habs game, maybe John won't join me if there's another Habs game. There is going to be a Habs game on Wednesday, right? Isn't that how it works? They got it one day on, one day off. Although they took the whole weekend off. I guess that was for 4th of July. So maybe John won't be with me on Wednesday. We'll see. I don't know. Hockey is, keeping a lot of people's attention here in the city of Montreal, and my co-host Johnny North is a big hockey fan, and he wasn't. Was he with me on Friday night? I don't think he was, right? Because it was a Habs game. He's been missing shows because he's been watching hockey. I'm sure Johnny's watching tonight. Hi, Johnny. So let's get to Monday Night Raw. Thank you, Angelo. Angelo dropping the super chat. He says, "What's happening, Dave? Habs won. Raw was boring. That's what's up." Big win for the Canadians tonight. Huge win. Shout out to Brian Firth, member of the team. What's up, Brian? Yeah, Wednesday night, I think Glenn and Johnny are going to be watching hockey, right, Angelo? I think I might be flying solo again on Wednesday. In that case, maybe we'll delay our Dynamite post shows. Like, I don't know. It's a lot of work on me here. I need these guys to carry the load. We'll see what happens Wednesday night. I'll let you guys know. That's why you got to follow the channel. You got to follow me on Twitter, too, at Dave Simon MMA. I'll let you know there. Raw, you know, they kind of set everything up for Money in the Bank a week ago and 2 weeks ago, and now they just have nothing left. They've set up Money in the Bank, and they're just killing time. They're not even going to be live in front of people next week. SmackDown will be live in front of people next week. This Friday night will be the last SmackDown in the Thunderdome, and then next Friday night will be the debut of WWE TV in front of crowds again, touring again. They'll be in Houston on the 16th. But Raw next week is just more filler waiting for Money in the Bank to happen because they've set up everything. Like, they have their side of the Money in the Bank matches. They set that up very quickly and very strangely in, like, tag team matches a couple of weeks ago. Naomi and Asuka won a tag team match to qualify for a singles match. Same with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, I think. They won a tag team match to qualify for this thing. So the SmackDown, or the Raw side of the Money in the Bank women's ladder match, it's already been set. So they're just kind of killing time. Same with the men's side. It was set like 2-3 weeks ago, right? It was 2 weeks ago now. Last week they had the triple threat with Riddle and AJ and Drew McIntyre for a last chance spot, right? That was the main event last week. Drew won that. But before that, you had John Morrison and Ricochet and Riddle. They all qualified like 2 weeks ago. So now you have this week. It's like, what do you do with them? Well, not too much. They didn't do much with anybody tonight. And that was kind of the problem. It was a boring show. Miz and Morrison started the show with an in-ring promo. You know you're not starting off well when you do that. Drew McIntyre showed up, talked about winning the Money in the Bank thing, and he's going to be champion, da-da-da. Ricochet showed up, and he spelled out his name, the R to the I to the C to the... Like, it was weird, and then he did a little dance that accompanied it. I hope he never does that again. That was horrible. Ricochet is, like, not cool, right? He does cool moves and everything, but as far as, like, charisma level and, like, promos, like, he's not that cool of a guy. What's going on with that guy? I wish he was more good. You know? I wish he was just better at talking, because his promos are just, they're holding him back. He's very talented in the ring, ridiculously talented. His size is holding him back, but his promos, like, if he could cut a promo and wrestle like he does, money. But he can't talk. He can't talk at all. R to the I to the C to the O to the C to the H to the E to the T. A Ricochet. Say it again. I was like, what the fuck is this? It was terrible. Come on, man. Rick O'Shea, you could do better than that. And then Riddle showed up, and he kind of showed them how to cut a promo. He climbs up on the ladder, and he's like, hey, bro, thought this is what you're supposed to do here. And then AJ Styles shows up, and he's mad that he was in a triple threat last week and that he's not in Money in the Bank. And Riddle starts saying things to AJ and Omos, and then Omos just pushes Riddle off the ladder because, like, of course he would. It's another thing. They're all in the ring. These guys are all supposedly going to wrestle each other, and there's real friction, and they don't like each other, yet they're all allowed to be in a ring with a big ladder there, And no one is concerned for their safety, even though they've been in wrestling for years and they know that people attack other people constantly in the ring for no reason, right? Riddle climbs up on the ladder. He's not concerned for his safety. He's just like, oh, yeah, I'll be fine up here. Of course Omos pushes him off the ladder. Like in the UFC, you got Dana White separating the fighters. You know, if you see them at a press conference, you see them at a weigh-in, who do you see to make sure that they don't fight each other? An authority figure, you know? Here, everybody just kind of shows up and they're in the ring, and it's like, well, a fight might break out, but it's all fake, so who cares, right? So Omos pushes Riddle off the ladder, and Riddle is selling like an ankle injury. He's hurt in the ankle somehow. His ankle is taped, and the toss off the ladder aggravated the injury. Riddle is going to wrestle AJ Styles later on in the show, which was not as good as you might expect. Mostly because of the way it was booked and the finish, you know? It wasn't allowed to really get going. Drew McIntyre eventually, to end this whole promo, clotheslined Omos out of the ring, which was kind of impressive. Less Drew McIntyre doing the clothesline, more Omos taking the bump, like, you know, standing in the ring and then kind of doing a back roll over top, landing on his feet, the kind of Kane bump where he'd get clothesline over the top and land on his feet. That's what Omos kind of did. It was all right. Decent for Omos. Mako says, I flipped precisely at the moment Ricochet did that shit and flipped back right away. Yeah, I can understand why. That's the kind of shit where you see Ricochet like going R to the I to the C. You're like, what? What am I watching right now? Craziness. Morrison and Ricochet did wrestle. It was pretty good if you like, innovative style offense, flippy stuff. You know, they did some cool stuff in the match, but it ended by count out after Ricochet did like a dive on Morrison. I kind of like the finish. Ricochet dives, Morrison's on the apron, and I'd love to see if I could get it for you from WWE. They might copyright strike me if I play it, but hey, we got to take risks in life, you know? You got to take some goddamn risks. Morrison is on the apron, and Ricochet jumps over the top rope to do like a crossbody onto Morrison. Like, not a crossbody, but like a spinning crossbody where he jumps, spins in the air, and like does a crossbody. But his leg kind of hooks the top rope, and Morrison grabs Ricochet, and it looks like he does it to save him from, botching the move or going too far with it. Kind of grabs him and winds up slamming him down on the floor. It was pretty cool, and it seemed like a botch, but then as Morrison's crawling back in the ring to beat the 10 count, Ricochet goes to crawl back in the ring. The Miz is in a wheelchair. He wheels in front of the crawling Ricochet to impede his momentum into the ring, his progress into the ring, for enough time for Morrison to win by countout. It was a cool finish. It looked like a botch, but I don't think it was, which is even harder to pull off. The finish was kind of cool. The match was, all right. They did some stuff. It wasn't bad. It may have been the match of the night because it just didn't have too much competition. I'm trying to find this move that Ricochet did to Morrison, but I'm not sure I'll be able to find it here for you. I'm not even sure I should play it, to be honest, right? Oh, here it is. Yeah, I can show this. This is from WWE's Twitter. Let's show this. Look at this. Ooh, okay. You see Ricochet tries to do the spin, but kind of catches the rope. right? And boom, Morrison like slams him. And that was the finish. Morrison winds up crawling in. They sell for a while. Morrison crawls in, wins by countout. Like, that's a cool finish, and that's an impressive move to pull off. These guys work well together. Look at that. Slams him. And the commentary team kind of sold it like, I don't know who got the better of that. You know, like it was a botch, like they weren't sure what to say there. It was good. Look at that. Boom. I like that. I thought that was a nice little move to end the match. That was cool. And I've got, I think that might be the match of the night, to be honest. John Morrison and Ricochet, even though it did end by countout. The way they did it was cool. It was innovative. Next week, it'll be Morrison versus Ricochet in a Falls Count Anywhere match. They've had countouts past couple of weeks. Next week, 6 days away from Money in the Bank, you're going to put two of the participants in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Doesn't seem fair, but hey, it's what they're doing. They need to fill time. Jinder Mahal is on his motorcycle. He's got a motorcycle now, and he's got his two goons. And he was mad that Drew didn't want to come ride motorcycles with him, and Drew wasn't a good friend to him, so now he wants to wrestle Drew. And he did. It was Drew beating Jinder Mahal by disqualification when Jinder's goons, Veer and Shanky, attacked Drew McIntyre. They all beat Drew down after the match, all three of the guys there, and Jinder hit him with his Koloss, which I almost forgot was his finishing move. I mean, I didn't almost. I did forget it was his finishing move. Completely forgot it. I was like, oh yeah, the Koloss. Remember when Jinder was WWE champion and he would hit that on people and he was like dominant? He would hit the Koloss and it was like, oh, the Koloss, it's over. Well, the Koloss came back and he hit Drew McIntyre with it. And then they stole Drew's sword. Drew has that sword, that big Claymore sword or whatever. Drew cut a promo before the match actually talking about the sword and said it was taken from the tooth of the Loch Ness Monster. He does these long, winding, ridiculous promos that are funny to absolutely no one. Every time Drew McIntyre talks, I just want to skip forward. I want to change the channel. Especially when he goes on and on about these historical figures and all this nonsense. He just talks a lot, says nothing. Tonight it was the Loch Ness Monster he was going on about. It was bad. But I like that Jinder stole Drew's sword because this means that Jinder and Drew are going to do some sort of program together. It's not like Drew's just going to get the sword back next Monday on Raw and then we're going to be all done. Something's going to happen next Monday. They're going to continue this story, and at Money in the Bank, Drew cannot win. He cannot win. At this point, I think they're doing something with Jinder, so maybe Drew won't win Money in the Bank. Which begs the question, who does win Money in the Bank? Who wins? The participants on the men's side, Rick O'Shea, John Morrison, Riddle, Drew McIntyre, Big E, Kevin Owens, Cesaro or Seth Rollins. There's going to be matches on SmackDown. See, SmackDown did it right. They're spreading it out. They still have qualifying matches for their shit on SmackDown this Friday. They got two of them. 2 qualifying matches. They've got Rollins versus Cesaro and Nakamura versus Corbin. Now, granted, bad matches, stupid matches. Why are they doing the same matches again? Why not switch it up? Why not say it'll be Seth versus Nakamura and Cesaro versus Corbin? Make it interesting. But, that's not what they do. Just give you the same match over and over again. This will be a qualifying match. How exciting. I could see Riddle winning Money in the Bank. I could see Big E winning Money in the Bank. I could see Seth Rollins winning Money in the Bank. I don't see Cesaro winning it, so if he beats Seth and winds up qualifying, forget that. I don't see Nakamura or Baron Corbin winning it, so neither man coming out of that one. I'd say best bet would be Riddle, based on momentum. Guy's on fire. There's nobody who has more momentum in the WWE right now. Upwards momentum, a guy who could be a main eventer, top of the card, WrestleMania main event type of character. There's nobody that has that upwards momentum right now like Matt Riddle. Not Big E, not Kevin Owens. As much as we may like them, they don't have that, the ball's not rolling in that way for those guys right now. Kevin and Sami had a kick-ass match on SmackDown, but it's just, it's hard to keep believing in Kevin Owens. He's up, he's down, he's up, he's down. Money in the Bank, yeah, I think he'd do a great job with it, but I don't know if WWE's going to do that with him at this juncture. I just don't see them pushing him that way, unfortunately. Riddle is getting a big push. So I could see Riddle being the one to win Money in the Bank. I'd love to see Big E win. I think that would be refreshing. It would kind of change the look of things. Big E would be a fun threat to Roman with the Money in the Bank briefcase. I don't know. That's why Money in the Bank is fun. You could propel somebody instantly into the main event that doesn't really have a reason to get there. Right? You give them a reason with Money in the Bank. You can elevate somebody with Money in the Bank. Could be anybody. It could be Rick O'Shea, but why? So he could try to cash in on Bobby Lashley? I just don't buy it. Big E, I buy. Kevin Owens, I buy. And I buy Riddle in a major way. Riddle seems like the safe pick, but he's selling an injury now, so you never know. Riddle did beat AJ Styles, though. Rolled him up after the Viking Raiders showed up ringside to confront Omos, and AJ got distracted by this, of course, and Riddle just rolled him up and won. Riddle was selling the ankle injury, but he still wound up beating AJ Styles, which, I don't know, kind of shaky. Classic WWE distraction roll-up finish we saw there. Not good. Next week, we will have Omos in his first ever singles match. Speaking of not good, Omos versus Eric of the Viking Raiders one-on-one. It should be short, so might not be that bad. And also Ivar. Ivar is the bigger Viking Raider. There's two Viking Raiders. There's one guy who's bald. There's the other guy who's balding, but he's got longer hair and the longer beard. The bigger guy is Ivar with the more hair. Ivar. He's wrestling AJ Styles next week. I think that'll be very good. And then in 2 weeks, when they return to live crowds for Raw, it'll be the 19th in Dallas, Texas. AJ Styles and Omos will finally defend the Raw Tag Team titles against the Viking Raiders. So that'll be fun. They've set that up nicely. AJ Styles still not in that Money in the Bank ladder match. Doesn't look like he will be. They have teased injuring somebody and replacing that injured person with someone else. Right now, you look at the match and Jinder kind of talked about it, right? He said, I want to wrestle in this Money in the Bank match, and maybe I'm going to take somebody out, and they just attacked Drew McIntyre, so maybe Drew, gets injured and Jinder replaces him in the match, or maybe Riddle gets injured and Randy Orton replaces him in the match, which is possible. A lot of possibilities. Where's Randy? I think Randy's just taking vacation until they go back to live crowds. I think he knows the workload's going to kind of beef up a little bit. He's going to be expected to do more and travel. It's more work. It's more stuff to do. So I think he's taking some time off. I think Kevin Owens wanted to take more time off, but WWE wanted him for that match on Friday. He was supposed to take a couple weeks. He said he was taking a couple weeks, but turned out to be just 1 week. But Randy, I think, is going to get his time. I think Randy is honestly on vacation, which makes sense. Like, if you can do it, why not do it? Take the vacation now before you get back on the road. It's going to be a grind, you know? That's kind of the good thing about COVID for the WWE wrestlers. Like, they haven't had it as hard as they normally do, you know, with the road and the schedule that they have to kind of do. And they get to see their families more often, right? They're not working as much. Like, it's got its pluses for them not being on the road, being in the Thunderdome, but they're going to get back on the road at some point, right? They knew that it was only a matter of time, and it's coming up on the 16th. First show on the road. AEW going back on the road, like I said, on Wednesday. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Eva Marie, and Doudrop beat Naomi, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, and Nikki ASH, which she explained is now her new name. I'm not sure if they're calling her Nikki Cross ASH or Nikki Ash or Nikki ASH. The ASH stands for Almost Superhero. So she's been this superhero gimmick for a couple of weeks. They put a new costume on her with the thing, the mask and the cape and everything. Apparently this is her idea, which I can't imagine is fully her idea. And if it is, why would they let her do it? Nikki ASH, the Nikki Almost Superhero. Yeah, I don't like it. It's bad, right? It's pretty bad. Nikki Ass, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, and Naomi win. Nia Jax, who the announcer, the commentator guy, Jimmy, what's his name, called her Nikki Jax. Nikki Jax gets the win. Nia Jax got the win on Nikki Cross, Nikki Ash, after a Samoan drop. And then Eva Marie declared herself the winner, and Nia and Shayna seemed upset about that. So Doudrop and Eva Marie kind of intersecting with Alexa Bliss and her angle with Shayna and Reginald and Nia, where she put Reginald in a trance at some point, but then Shayna pushed Alexa, attacked her a bit, so the trance was broken. A lot of stuff going on here. Naomi and Asuka there because, you know, why not? They're in Money in the Bank for some reason. Alexa is in Money in the Bank too. Nikki Ass is in this thing. Alexa, Nikki Ass, Naomi, Asuka, Carmella, Zelina Vega, and two more people. We don't know who. I assume Liv Morgan and somebody else from SmackDown. Raw's already got their people. Like, SmackDown's smart. Again, Raw tonight, they did fuck all because they had nothing to do. They've done it all already. They set up Money in the Bank. SmackDown is, like, spacing it out. They have two more people to qualify this Friday night. For the men, they're having matches. For the women, we don't even know. Liv Morgan's, like, involved in a deal, but for the 8th person in this match, who fucking knows? I don't know who's going to be on SmackDown as the last woman in that match. Could be Sonya Deville. I have no idea. Maybe Sasha Banks comes back and does it. Like, they don't have that many. Bayley's going to wrestle Bianca Belair already in an I Quit match on the pay-per-view, so it's not going to be Bayley or Bianca. So who's left on SmackDown, right? I don't think there's anybody. I think you have to do either Sonya or bring Sasha Banks back for this one. Yeah, so that happened. Mustafa Ali beat Mansoor via pinfall for some reason. Rolled him up. Mustafa with a roll-up victory over Mansoor. Yeah. Mansoor and Mustafa Ali wrestled tonight. Why? Because Mustafa has been trying to advise Mansoor on how to be a WWE wrestler, and Mansoor doesn't want to take his advice, and for some reason Mansoor's the babyface, ignoring the veteran's advice. But turns out he should have listened to his friend Mustafa, because Mustafa rolled him up and showed him how to win matches on Raw. No one gives a shit. I'm surprised this made the show. Shocking. What a bad show. Like Morrison and Ricochet, in retrospect, it was the opening match, and I was like, count out, you know? But after seeing all 3 hours of this show, I think it was the best match. Riddle and AJ Styles was all right, but Riddle was selling his ankle for most of it, and then you had the stupid roll-up distraction finish with the Viking Raiders and Omos, and AJ going, huh, what's going on? Whoops, I lost. It's not good. Lucha House Party beat Mace and T-Bar with a Hurricane Rana into a roll-up. Another roll-up finish there. Lucha House Party steals one. Mace and T-Bar are still a thing for some reason. Why? Why are we watching the remnants of Retribution on Raw still? They never, that angle was terrible. They never really wrapped it up in a way that made sense. Mia Yim, doesn't seem to be anywhere. Mustafa's on Raw. Mason T-Bar are still on Raw. What happened to Slapjack? Did they get rid of Slapjack? They fire Slapjack? Mia Yim, I think she's still with the company. But she's, engaged to Keith Lee, and Keith Lee is, Unsolved Mysteries, missing in action. I think he got abducted by aliens. I don't know what happened to that guy. He's supposed to be on Raw. He's supposed to be around, but he fucking disappeared, and it's been real mysterious about where he is or why he's not around. I hope he's all right, but I think he might be, I think he might have been abducted by aliens. I have no idea what happened to Keith Lee. But I think him and Mia Yim, possibly aliens. Or, they decided to become, Buddhist monks somewhere and they quit wrestling. I have no idea. Maybe they're doing pornos with Lars Sullivan. Who fucking knows? And at this point, I don't care that much. Charlotte Flair cut an in-ring promo. She had a crutch, and she was going to give an injury update because Rhea Ripley chop-blocked her last week. And then Charlotte says she might have to miss Money in the Bank. And then Rhea Ripley shows up making fun of Charlotte. She's got a crutch too, but she's obviously faking her injury. And then Rhea says that Charlotte is faking. And then Rhea and Charlotte at the same time kick each other's crutch out from under the other one, leaving them crutchless and leaving it obvious that neither of them is actually hurt. They then grab a crutch and sword fight with the crutches. And then Charlotte has Rhea drop her crutch, and then Rhea kind of ducks around and picks up the crutch and makes Charlotte drop hers, smacks the crutch out of her hands. And then Charlotte rolls out of the ring, and that was it. Are they setting up a crutch match at Money in the Bank? Are they setting up a weapons match, an Extreme Rules match? They're hitting each other with crutches. Their match at Hell in a Cell ended when Rhea Ripley just got herself disqualified to escape the match. Their match at Money in the Bank is supposed to be just one-on-one. Have it make sense. John Morrison and Ricochet last week goes to a double countout. This week, it goes to a countout again. Morrison wins. Next week, they're like, fuck it. Falls count anywhere. Let's settle this thing. Hell in a Cell, Rhea and Charlotte goes to a disqualification when Rhea's like, fuck it, I want out of this match. I'm going to hit Charlotte with the top of the announce table to retain my title. And then this match is just like, oh, one-on-one, same rules. Rhea could do the exact same thing, even though in the build-up to it, they're hitting each other with crutches. Stupid. Make it make sense. More stupid shit happened on Raw. Jackson Ryker was going to team up with R-Truth to wrestle Elias and Cedric Alexander. But then R-Truth decided to bail on the match because Akira Tozawa ran in and Humberto Carrillo, Angel Garza, Drew Gulak, and Shelton Benjamin were all chasing Akira Tozawa. By the way, Humberto Carrillo has a U.S. title match, I think, next week against Sheamus. This motherfucker's chasing the 24/7 title. You think he's going to win the U.S. title from Sheamus next week? If you're on the 24/7 chase and you can't even track down and beat Akira Tozawa, how are you expected to beat Sheamus for the U.S. title next week on Raw? Did you have to put Humberto into the Job Squad chase for the 24/7 title? I guess you did, because you've run out of jobbers because you're firing everybody. Usually it was like 8 to 10 guys running after Tozawa. Tonight it was 4 dudes. It was Carrillo, Garza, Gulak, and Shelton. They're chasing Tozawa, and then Truth is like, yeah, I'm going to chase after Tozawa too. I want to get that 24/7 title. This match is stupid. Why would I even tag with Jackson Ryker? Who gives a shit? I'm out of here. Even Truth is like, fuck this match. And he was in it. Jackson Ryker winds up winning in a 2-on-1 match, but not really, because Elias also decided, fuck this match, and he bailed. Because he was like scared of Jackson Ryker, so Cedric Alexander winds up jobbing to Jackson Ryker. Ryker pinned him with like a slam. Trash. New Day beat MVP and Bobby Lashley in the main event. Kofi hit in Trouble in Paradise on MVP for the 1-2-3. This match was actually pretty good. Kofi and Truth cut a promo earlier in the night, too, a backstage interview. It was solid stuff. Kofi and Truth are great. Kofi and Truth. I got Truth on the brain. I'm still thinking about Truth in the 24/7 title. Kofi and Woods. They were a tag team, Truth and Consequences. Kofi and Truth actually were a tag team as well, right? Kofi and Truth were a tag team, and Truth and Woods were also a tag team. But Woods and Kofi are the New Day. Of course, they cut a really good promo earlier in the night, and their match was good. Kofi and Woods beating Bobby and MVP. It was solid stuff. It was a solid match. You might say that was match of the night, too. I'm going to go with Morrison and Ricochet just for that finish. You know, it's a count-out, but it was a cool way to get there, and I liked how they got there. It wasn't as long of a match as the main event. It wasn't as, you know, maybe well drawn out, kind of put together, but the main event was really good, too. Solid stuff. Kofi and Woods are great. MVP, you know, doesn't wrestle too often, so that was all right. And Bobby, you know, did his thing, you know, did the Bobby Lashley thing. It wasn't exceptional, but, you know, it was solid. It's a solid main event. You're building towards Kofi versus Bobby at Money in the Bank for the WWE title, so you have to do these types of matches. It was fine. This Kofi and Bobby thing, I just don't believe in Bobby losing to Kofi right now, right? I just don't see it. I would love to see Kofi as WWE champion. I just don't think WWE is going in that direction. It seems like they've got something big set up for Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam, and that's the next pay-per-view there in August. And it'll probably be Bobby versus either Brock Lesnar or Goldberg, we're hearing, right? So, 2 big matches for Bobby. I mean, it's not like that shit's good for the company, good for the future of the business or anything. But it's the type of shit that WWE loves to do. Box office, pal. Kofi Kingston is WWE champion. You know, getting a win over Brock Lesnar or a Goldberg would, I think, send a better message. But we're going with Bobby. So there you go. I would love to see Kofi win the WWE title at Money in the Bank. I just don't see it. Mako wants to know, is Tozawa the thong Asian wrestler? He is Asian. He is from Japan. I don't believe I've ever seen him in a thong. He usually wears the ninja suit. Angelo says the Habs game was much better tonight compared to what happened on Raw. I could see that. I mean, they won in overtime to stave off elimination in the Stanley Cup Finals, and tonight's Raw was the second to last Raw in the Thunderdome and the second to last Raw before Money in the Bank. Like, you know, uneventful. Not a great episode of Raw. I see my man AJ in the chat. Shout out to AJ. AJ and I have a big week. We're going to be back for Ringside Report MMA this Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be previewing Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier, UFC 264 coming up on Saturday night. We'll also be doing the watch along right here on the channel for UFC 264 Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. When the pay-per-view starts, we're on here with you, giving you everything you need to know about what's going on inside the octagon. Conor versus Poirier 3 coming up on Saturday night. Freddie and AJ and myself will all be back on Thursday night. We took a little summer vacation, a couple weeks off. Kind of holidays, right? It was St. Jean one Thursday, and the following Thursday was Canada Day, so we took a couple shows off, but we are back with a vengeance this coming Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Ringside Report MMA. And if Johnny and Glenn are not going to join me on Wednesday night, we might have to postpone the AEW Dynamite post shows to another time. I don't know. We'll see. Tune in Wednesday night to find out if I'm here. We'll see how the day goes. We'll see what I feel like doing. All right? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, do all the things, leave a comment. Go to donate.ringsidereport.net. Thank you to Angelo. You are the super chat leader once again. Angelo Contagonis out in Laval, Quebec. Glad the Habs won for my man Angelo. Seeing a couple questions. Bob Cote wants to know, where's Randy? I think he's on vacation. Lauren Cronish wants to know, when is the India tour? I don't think it's happening anytime soon. They're going to the UK, but going to India, I think, is not happening anytime soon for the WWE. Mako wants to know why the WWE, with so much talent, is still boring. Well, it's the creative, Mako. It's the writing. It's just, the talent is there. It's just, they're not doing anything proper with it. It's just a mess. It's a mess. And that's it. Angelo saying the latest the Cup final can finish is this Sunday. All right. So we should be back with Johnny coming up at some point in the future. So hopefully it does go till Sunday, and then they wrap it up on Sunday, and they win, and then it's all over. It's all over. All right. This is all over. I'll be back here probably Wednesday after Dynamite, or maybe just Thursday to preview the fights with Freddie and AJ. Tune in and find out. Thanks for checking in with me tonight. I will see you again real soon.